nerve-wracking. I hope, can the camera see? This is so weird. Okay. Hi. This is Melissa of Tough Cookies fame. And I'm doing this little video to explain Tough Cookies to you, whoever's watching. Okay. It's like I'm talking to myself and it's really fucking weird, but whatever. First question. What is Tough Cookies? That is a difficult question to answer, actually, because I think that it's kind of a lot of things. And I think you can get from it different things depending on who you are. But essentially, what Tough Cookies is a lesbian and women's issues blog that's geared towards 20-somethings. 3 words that describe Tough Cookies would be fresh, a little sassy, and accepting. I got involved with Tough Cookies because I created it, so I kind of had no choice but to be involved, or else it wouldn't exist. Basically, in March of 2010, I was thinking about, or maybe it kind of, no. In the winter of 2010, I started to get really kind of into Jessica Valenti, who's a feminist author who owns the blog feministing.org, and reading her books and reading about her blogging and everything started getting me thinking about the lesbian community. And I actually was a very active member in the lesbian community on LiveJournal, and I really love that community. It's absolutely fantastic, but I started kind of feeling like there wasn't really a place for girls who like girls where they could go and just sort of be part of a community, if that makes sense. I kind of felt like the lesbian community was very, like, sectioned off, and there was, like, you know, the lesbian community for 30-somethings and over. It's kind of, like, very adult. And then there's, like, a lot of stuff focused on teenagers and kids who are questioning and all of that. And I was like, what about the 20-somethings? And I think that in your 20-somethings, you're in sort of a weird phase of your life anyway, because you've kind of already gone through that whole self-discovery thing, but you're not exactly set in your life yet. So there's kind of a lot of questioning, a lot of still kind of who am I and who am I going to be? Who am I as an adult? And so I thought that it was important to make sure that there was something there for that specific demographic. And I also felt like the lesbian community in general is very, sometimes harsh, I think, to women who don't fit specifically into a niche, who aren't exactly gold star lesbian 100% of the time, like awesome, doing it kind of thing. And I just felt like there's so many women who don't fit into that group, who maybe don't even fit into bisexual and can't even find support in the bisexual communities. There's people who are kind of in this in-between phase. And I thought that it was important to sort of nourish or to nurture that group of people. Because I think that there's a lot of women in that age group or in that sexual, like, orientation demographic who have something to say and who are interested in thinking about sexuality and talking about sexuality and all of those kinds of things, and sort of pushing the envelope as far as gender identity goes, or monogamy goes, and just all these different things. And I thought that it was important to try to bring these people together and say, hey, it's cool to not fit in. It's okay to be kind of on a different, you know, wavelength than everybody else, a different frequency. I was like, this can be the island of misfit toys for the 20-something lesbian community. So that's how Tough Cookies basically got started, because I started thinking about that, and I said, hey, why don't I just make a blog? Because I like to write, so I'm going to make a blog. So I asked my friend Courtney Gallant, I said, hey, like, do you want to do this with me? Because I felt like I couldn't do it by myself, and I love Courtney to death. And so I was like, help me. And she was like, sure. And so together we created Tough Cookies, and it has actually completely spiraled, I'm not going to say out of control, but into something that I never would have imagined. actually. It became a lot, I think, and I'm proud of that. That's good. That's cool. Tough Cookies is important to me because I think that it allows me personally an outlet for certain ways that I feel when I see sort of injustices in the lesbian community or in the community at large. I can say something about it and feel like someone's listening, and not just that someone's listening, but feel like I'm talking to a bunch of people who actually care and who actually want to do something about that, make a difference, who want to engage in conversation about these things. I think it's just a really great way for us to come together instead of always being sort of separated by our differences, and that's why it's important to me. The community in and of itself is important to me. And I've made so many friends via Tough Cookies between the bloggers and the members of the community and on and on and on. It's just, it's awesome. It's really cool. It's like its own little Tough Cookies thing, and it's cool because we only have like 500 members or so, and I like that. Of course, I would love to have more. Tell your friends. But, I mean, I like it. I like it because it's special. I think it's special. What is your favorite thing about Tough Cookies? My favorite thing about Tough Cookies is probably all the other bloggers, to be honest with you. I really like that everyone has something a little bit different to say. Even the bloggers that don't blog for us anymore. Danielle, Courtney, Missy, Danica, on and on. I think that they add so much to, just all the bloggers just add so much to Tough Cookies in general, and I think that that's awesome. But I also, like I said before, like the community is really awesome, and I feel really good about that. And I think it's really cool when members will like share things on the Facebook wall, like, hey, thought of you guys, like thought people would like this, and it's really cool. I really like that a lot. I like that it's growing. It's just, I have a lot of favorite things. Tough Cookies in general is my favorite. What kind of community do you think is fostered? I think that the thing is that Tough Cookies attracts everybody. It attracts people who, my shirt's coming off, that's awesome. It's a lesbian video, bro. Yeah, so I think that Tough Cookies attracts a lot of different people. It attracts people who don't fit into an orientation mold. It attracts people who don't fit into a beauty mold. It attracts people that don't fit into a gender mold. I think that that is super important. I think it is super important. It basically attracts people who are looking for a community that is non-judgmental. And that is the thing about Tough Cookies that I'm the most proud of, absolutely, is that it is a relatively non-judgmental space. I say relatively because people like to attack me in the comments for some reason. I don't know why. People hate me. It's like I'm hated. Sometimes I feel. Sometimes I cry. It's no big deal. What sets Tough Cookies apart from other lesbian blogs and communities? Tough Cookies is different from other lesbian blogs and communities because it is sort of non-specific. We talk about lesbian issues, we talk about issues within sexuality, which includes bisexuality, but it also includes pansexuality, and sexualities don't have a name. Sexualities that you want to name yourself. We really focus on a lot of things. We talk about, we even talk about heterosexuality, we talk about men, and not always in a negative way, and I think a lot of lesbian blogs do that. Sometimes we do talk about men in negative ways, but not always. We also talk about just women's issues, because we're all women after all, for lesbians generally. So we talk about things like that. And we just draw on a lot, I think, and we don't try to stay too specific and, focus only on say, like, politics in the GLBT community, because you can find tons of blogs that do that. There are a lot of blogs that are really, really specific, that just do politics, that just do media, and we try to do it all. Try to encompass everything. We find something that's interesting, we say, hey, this is interesting, let's talk about it, because it's here on the table. How has Tough Cookies changed and expanded over the past year? When I started Tough Cookies, within about a month, we had maybe 50 members, and I was blown away. I was psyched. And it started out, when you look at the old blog entries, for instance, like when it was just me and Courtney, and just me and Courtney wrote all the time, it was very much, we would present an idea and ask for opinions, say, here's a video. Like one time I posted Lady Gaga featuring Beyonce's telephone video. It was like, here's a video, let's talk about it. Or Courtney was always really good at, bringing up some kind of a discussion topic, like throwing in a little piece of what's going on in her life, and then say, hey, does this happen to you, and whatever. And I think that it has expanded into more, I don't want to say scholarly articles, but more in-depth, thought-provoking articles than it necessarily was in the beginning. And now it's kind of like, you know, sometimes I'll write an article where I'm like, you know, this would have been good a year ago for Tough Cookies, but it's not anymore. Where it's, if I half-ass something, I just delete it because I'm like, it's just not good enough anymore. The Tough Cookies has kind of evolved into something that's a little bit more serious. So I think that that is a big change that's happened. And also, like I said, we have a lot more members now, like 10 times as many members as we did when we first started. So it is definitely expanded. In the future, I feel, I don't really know where Tough Cookies is going to go, to be honest with you. I'm hoping it sticks around. I don't know what's going to happen when all of the members, like when the entire Tough Cookies community is no longer in their 20s. Like, then what? Does Tough Cookies, like, evolve like that? Like, now it's a blog for people who are in their 30s. Now it's a blog for people in their 70s. I mean, is that? I don't know. I have no idea. My hope, really, I would like Tough Cookies to maybe be taken more seriously by other blogs. I want Tough Cookies to be something where when someone brings up Tough Cookies, you know what they're talking about. When someone's like, yeah, dude, I read that on Tough Cookies, and you're like, oh, yeah, totally. You know? That'd be cool. If Tough Cookies were a tree, what kind of tree would it be? I'm laughing, but I wrote these questions. The thing is, I wrote them about a week ago, and I haven't looked at them since. And I just sat down with the email to look at them, and I'm like, the fuck am I talking about? If Tough Cookies were a tree, Pussy Willow. No explanation. So yeah, Tough Cookies is pretty fantastic, if I do say so myself. And no, I think that we have a lot going for us, and I think that we are a special community, and I think that we have a lot to offer to the lesbian community, or the lesbian community, and I think that's important. Yay. Okay. Deuces.